Hi and welcome to this week's video. I thought it might be a useful topic today to talk a little bit about what happens when you stop dieting and to look at the fear that comes with that, but also the safety that you'll find on the other side of it. So I thought sharing my experience might be a good way to show you what happens and also what's possible. And if you don't know who I am already, my name's Georgina Wright and I'm an intuitive eating counsellor, and I became passionate about becoming a counsellor and coach in this work following what felt like a lifelong battle with binge eating, emotional eating and dieting. So all the work that I do now is focused around helping wonderful women like you heal from all of those patterns so that you can move forwards with freedom and peace in your life and no longer feel a prisoner to what you're eating. So back to the topic in hand. My diet journey started in my teenage years, and basically it went on for nearly 15 years in total, and everything that I wanted from diets kept slipping further and further away the more diets that I did. The first one felt quite novel and my goal was weight loss, and it happened quite quickly and quite effortlessly, to be honest. But soon enough I started to crave things that weren't on the diet I was doing at the time, ended up back at square one and thought, fine, I'll just do another diet. It worked last time, so I'll get back on track, so to speak. Only it became a bit harder the next time. It wasn't as fun, it wasn't as interesting, and my cravings started to get stronger. But I failed that one again, and then I just kept going and kept thinking, well, the problem here is me, it's not the diet, because it worked the first time, so it must be me and what I'm doing. So that kick-started this awful cycle of restricting food through a diet, then getting such strong cravings that I couldn't stick to the diet. And then ultimately that developed into a pattern of binge eating, which was the most obvious thing that I noticed when I now look back on those years. But what was also happening underneath the surface of that was emotional eating. And so the binge eating and the emotional eating both became patterns that were really strong for many, many years. And not only did the diets not work and fuel this disordered eating pattern, I actually put more and more and more and more weight on from that very first diet that I started. So fast forward these 15 years, I'd done so many diets by this time, and I'd started yet another one, and I just thought, what am I doing? Why? I just can't continue like this. So I hit what's called diet rock bottom and thought, gosh, there must be another way forwards. There must be something else that could help me feel healthy without being obsessed. And that's when I discovered intuitive eating. That was my first sort of awareness, I suppose, into, what that work might mean. But having said that, it didn't feel easy, so I was relieved that I'd found a body of work that made sense. So intuitive eating helps all of the things I've just described, whilst also helping you to feel healthy without diets. But at first when I read it, I thought, oh, how am I going to do this? How could I not control food anymore? It was very scary for me. And I felt a lot of fear around it, and that might be exactly how you're feeling if you're watching this video. And the things that I found most helpful in order to move through that fear was a little bit at a time, starting to learn how to trust myself again. And through the process of intuitive eating, that is exactly what happens. So not only are you able to get reassurance that you haven't failed anything, it's not you that's failed the diet's failed you. And there's lots and lots of, good evidence to share that indeed that is the case. And statistically, 95% of all people that go on a diet or restriction to lose weight, 95% of those people don't stick with it for more than 2 years. So I hope that reassures you as well, that it's absolutely not you, it's the diet culture that we're in. So once I realised that massively helped. I felt so much calmer, that it wasn't my fault, and that's when I could start healing. So that would be my number one piece of advice to you, is to first understand that wherever you are at the moment, it isn't you that's failed anything. Diets aren't set up to create meaningful, long-lasting change. whereas intuitive eating opens a door to actually learning how to trust yourself again. And as you move through the process of intuitive eating, it teaches you to reconnect with your inbuilt fullness and hunger cues, so you don't have to count calories anymore because you can actually listen to your body. And although it's not an overnight fix, it doesn't take long to re-establish those hunger and fullness cues, and that can really start to rebuild trust. And that's just one of many of the bonuses and benefits of going through the self-care framework of intuitive eating. So I made my way through that process. I did do it on my own, however, for the most part, and much though I did it, it took a lot longer. At one point in my healing journey, so to speak, I don't like, it's a bit cliche to say that, but I can't think of another word. I did actually have some support, and the difference between doing it on my own and having support was absolutely like night and day. It really speeded up my healing and being able to connect more fully with my body, let go of food rules, let go of food guilt. I was able to work on body image and all of these things much more quickly with the support that I had in place. And so with that in mind, to finish this video, I've created a wonderful membership. I've made it so affordable for anybody that go through every single part of the intuitive eating process. I'll be supporting you every step of the way, and you can start on this process now of moving out of control and actually starting to trust your body again, which is so freeing, and it's made such a huge difference in my life. I'm just so happy that I can help other people to achieve the same. So hope you have a good week. The link's down below in the comments box if you would like to learn a little bit more about the membership, and I shall very much look forward to seeing you inside the membership with a community of many other wonderful ladies that are all doing exactly the same work as you. So take care, and I will see you in the next video.